Hey guys, welcome back to Sky Factory. I'm Brim, he's Grum, and this is episode 20. Now what are we going to do today? Well, I thought we would take a look real quick. A couple of things have changed. You'll notice that flying over today, I don't get inundated. I don't get my inventory completely filled, with ink sacks because we have taken out the signs that were down here. I think we've got 4,500 ink sacks sitting in the ME system right now, so I think we've got enough for a while, and it just really got annoying every time I move around anywhere over here, grabbing a bunch of ink sacks. On top of that, we now have some sheep, so we finally got a sheep to spawn, and I brought the auto spawner over here and just let it spawn a bunch of sheep and then tossed them in here and threw a tesseract on top of our rancher, and it's sitting there shearing sheep for us. Additionally, yeah, ignore the fact that the foundry is like 900 blocks tall. I was trying to process, we had all those barrels full of ore that needed to come out. Those are all gone at this point. They're absolutely gone. We were processing ores, just trying to get the stuff done as quickly as possible over here. So that's the reason that thing is so tall right now. I threw a bunch of extra blocks on there to make it a little taller. I was using the compacting drawer here, and I would just grab as many stacks as I could and cram it in there so it would automatically do the 4x4 for me so I could pull it out and stuff it in there. So that's what is going on there. Now what is this over here? Well, this is a basic capacitor bank. A capacitor bank is an interesting little device. It's fairly, the basic one is really cheap. Basic capacitor bank. It's just 4 capacitors, a block of redstone, and 4 iron. Well, these are really cheap and easy to make, but what that allows us to do is we can bring our power to this and then take it back out of this and use this as a place to store power. So we've got 21 million RF in here right now. Yeah. And the way we have done that, notice that when I originally named my channel for the ME system, that I named it main base power and MEN. I did not call it reactor and ME. The reason is I knew that eventually I would have power storage, and that would no longer be true. This would no longer be reactor. It would be coming from our main base storage. So, and you'll see that there's another reactor set up here now, another channel set up here at 400 for the reactor itself. So what we've done is we're piping out of the reactor over here on channel 400 and into the capacitor bank. And that is the only thing that is the reactor itself is sending power to. It's coming right here and going into the capacitor bank itself, and then we're coming out of the capacitor bank on that main channel and powering everything else that was getting power. Now, one of the cool things about this is it lets us see exactly what our power usage is. Matter of fact, let's change those to the scale so that we can see real quick. This is a representation of how full the battery is. These panels can be changed. Oh, pick that back up. The display can be changed by shift right clicking. So that one gives you what the current status is, in or out, whether you're gaining power or losing power. This one tells you what the input and output numbers are. You can see that we're pretty fairly well matched, and that's because we're not getting anywhere near hurting the power on that reactor over there yet. And then this bar gives you a clue about how full the actual battery inside is. Now, this is the most basic of the capacitor banks, and this has 2 more stages up, as I recall. Capacitor bank, if I can spell, bank. Yeah, so we're at the basic, and the reason we did that was because of the inexpense of the basic capacitors. You go up from there to a full capacitor bank, and this requires double layers, which actually requires energetic alloy, and we're not really set up to make that right now. I do think I've got some coal powder being, or pulverized coal being made right now. And then, of course, we've got Vibrant at the top, which requires the octadic, and it's expensive. We will get there. We absolutely want that. These things store 25 million RF per block in the multi-structure. That is an amazing amount of power. I think these store, where's the basic store? 1 million RF per block, so we've got 21 blocks in, is that right? Yep, we've got 21 blocks in. And it doesn't really, we can just, if we made 4 or 5 more, we just cram them on. It does not matter about the size or shape of the multi-structure, it will just carry on doing its thing. Matter of fact, a lot of times I like to hide my tesseracts somewhere in the middle of the machine so that all you see is the machine itself. You don't need to see the tesseracts anymore. So anyway, that is now sitting down here filling up this space where our original storage for ores was at. We've still got an issue with drums here. It is what it is. It is what it is. We will eventually get these squared away and straightened up. Now, I've done some more decoration to our island over here. I decided to do a whole series of drop points down here, and this is really not done. It's still too uniform. I need to go through and kind of randomly knock out blocks. I have put in some glowstone and everything. I've obviously made vines and put those in there, and I've done that with, it's the nature essence. We've got a couple of nature seeds. Matter of fact, I may just have 1 nature seed over here at this point. No, it looks like we've got 2. Oh, maybe I did a whole row. No, it looks like we got 3. I don't know why I chose to do 3, but maybe it was what I had material for. I don't know. Anyway, I've got 3 seeds over there, and they're dumping nature essence in here. Nature essence, if I spell it right, nature. And we're sitting on, is that 1200? No, it's 1019. And I think the vines were like a ladder shape, right? Yeah, and you get 16 for 7 vines. So we made a bunch of vines. And so some of these I want to continue to grow, so I haven't done anything to them. But some of these, if we look at them, is this one already have string underneath it? This one does. I don't know if you can see on the screen, but there's a box there, and that's because there's string there, and it's underneath this vine right here. With that string there, that string is invisible from even right here, but it will block the growth of this vine. This vine can no longer grow any further down. So there will come a point, obviously we don't want this vine to grow all the way into the void down there. So there will come a point at which point I have to go around and go, yep, that one's as far down as I want it. This one may be reaching that sort of level now because it's down beneath our other, well, it's not down beneath the reactor. But anyway, there will come a point where we go, okay, that's enough growth, and we will throw string under it, and that will fix its place in its growth. We've also done some decorative sort of work inside the foundry here, and I just used microblocks up here to create kind of a suspension sort of, I don't know, to me it reminds me of cable and suspension bridge type stuff, or maybe even a pump where things are being pumped into this giant tank of lava. And then the water, now I could have, and maybe I will for aesthetic purposes, I could have gone in here and removed all the glass that's in the middle and replaced it with cobblestone. I guess, would that have happened in reality though? Would the water and lava touch in the middle? They definitely would down there, because the lava flows down and then wants to flow over. I don't know. I haven't obviously replaced the bottom one with cobble over here yet, and I don't know that I will. This was mostly for aesthetics. Obviously, we talked about what the rest of this room was for other ores and stuff. But you know, at some point we have to make it look nice too, right? If we're going to spend any time over here. Okay, now, I think that brings us up to speed on everything that has changed since we were last together. And really, it's been decorative and me playing with stuff and trying to get ores processed to get them out of the barrels down there. So let's take a look. We still haven't reached the last 2 drives, but we're getting close. And I really feel like my growth and development in the series is stunted by the fact that there's no room here for growth. So we have to solve that. We talked about the fact that we were going to try to do that with, speaking of RF tools, unknown. We've got a few in here, not a whole lot. I really haven't done much AFK since the last time we were together. But we'll just dump these all in there and let them process. Obviously, I cleaned this up as well. And the way I did that was I built another collar around to give it some additional shape. And also, that allowed me to hide the little bit of wiring that we had to do right here. So that's all cleaned up now, and it looks much better to me. We should have lots of dimlets in here now. We do. Cool. All right, so having said all that, I feel limited in what I can do. And we talked about getting to an RF world so that we could get the stained clay so that we could build what we wanted to build. I haven't given up on getting to an RF world, but I think I need to move forward faster than that. So here's what I've decided to do. I have decided to go out here somewhere and do one of 2 things. Either, and it'll probably start, I may even tear down this spawn room so I can put it in the new structure. Matter of fact, I want to be within 32 blocks so that I can jump back and forth from here. I may have to actually come pretty close with one wing. So here's what I'm considering doing. I want to be inside some actual rooms. I'm really kind of tired of everything being open to the sky and us feeling like we're not thriving yet. We're surviving, and obviously survival is not a problem for us at this point. But I don't feel like we're thriving. I don't feel like we're moving forward, and I want to do that. So I'm going to do one of 2 things. I'm either going to come out here and build a superstructure and kind of like a floating spaceship, or we could create a huge structure of stone and cobblestone and then begin digging into it just like it were a mountain. Now, when I say huge, I'm thinking maybe if we started like, I'm looking at the mini-map up there, if I were to come here to the corner of this chunk and then go, there's 1 chunk, 2 chunks, 3 chunks, I think it's got to be at least 4 chunks, about 4 chunks. Now, 1, 2, 3, that brings us out to about this area. So I'm talking about filling in an area that big with cobblestone and smooth stone. And I want to go up. How high do we want to go up? Maybe into this sort of range so that we've got room to go both vertical and horizontal. And I'm really leaning towards doing that so that I've got a place to dig in. That's one of the things about Minecraft. It's called Minecraft. The expectation is that you're going to be doing a bunch of mining and digging and that sort of thing. So how do we build a structure that tall? How do we build a structure with that much cobble and smooth stone in it? Well, we take advantage of a mechanic that exists in the game. And we're going to jump right in. I'm really leaning that way. And we can always vein mine it out if it becomes a bad idea. So what we're going to need is an ender pump. Endothermic. Where's the endothermic pump? Here, we can do thermic. I bet there's not a lot. But there's not a lot of thermic stuff. It's the T that's killing me. T. Thermic. Endothermic pump is, okay, so this is shaped crafting, and it is ender infused. Well, we can make that for sure. There's 1. And then we probably have to build that because we probably don't have it in the system. We may actually have lava, a bucket of lava and a bucket of water in the system already. Oh, look at there. Okay, cool. So it was actually took less crafting than I was expecting. Now, the interesting thing about an endothermic pump. Do I have a... Where's my angel block? Let me grab an angel block, and let me grab just a couple of things out of the system. We'll take some cobble. And do we have a bucket of water in there? Oops. Bucket. Not a bicket, a bucket. I don't have a bucket of water. I can use the clay bucket. That'll work. So if we were to take a look, let's grab our angel block. The thing about the endothermic pump is that it was really designed to pump lava out of void worlds. That's what it was really designed for. And it does an amazing job of doing that function. But it also has a unique mechanic for doing that, so that, like everything else in the Ender stuff, it is server friendly. And the way it handles that function is that as it picks up the lava, instead of letting the lava flow and do an update, it actually replaces the lava with stone. Let's go ahead and grab, we're going to need a tesseract for this too, and we'll grab another water while we're over here. Got a water source right here, I don't know where I'm going. So it actually replaces the lava with stone, so there's no block update. And that keeps it from being significantly strenuous on servers. It's much less strenuous than actually letting all the lava flow around. We actually have a tesseract in our system. And I think if we don't hook any storage to it, it'll just void the water. I think it will. We'll find out here real quick. All right, so we've now got 4 water in here. And it goes on the level beneath the pump itself. So it's going to be looking to do this level of water, not water up here on this level. And then if we actually go send this to main base power and receiving, well, it says it's receiving all. We certainly don't want that. Blocking, and receiving energy on main base power. You'll notice that it immediately starts pulling out the water. And it's actually going all the way down to bedrock level and checking every block down there for additional water. Now, I wanted to turn this on, and I may have to go get some before it comes back and does the rest of the block. So it's going from here all the way down, and then it's going to come back and do these others. No. So it's not voiding the water, is it? Okay, hang on. That's not a problem, because we can build a bedrockium drum. I'm sure we've got enough bedrockium in the system to do this. I wish. Quit. I really wish NEI didn't do that. So let's grab the bedrockium drum, and I think we set it directly on top of the pump. And once again, okay, so we can see that it replaced it. And once again, my drum, I have a, it's just a visual glitch. It's sitting there, you can see up on the tooltip that it says there are 4 buckets of water out of 65,000 available, and obviously these have been turned to stone. Now here's what I want to do, because here's what we would do in reality. Actually, I can grab the water right straight out of there. We can go 1 and 2, and then we can break these out. And we'll probably have to pick up here. I can just turn this off. We want to let that go all the way down to bedrock level. And the reason I want to do this, I'm going to turn it back on and then go check our power situation while it's actually replacing these 4 blocks. I think we're probably there. Bang. Are you doing the right thing now? Why didn't you start back up? Does it think this is already done and therefore it's not going to redo it? Maybe so. We can break it and replace it though. Where'd the pump go? So we replace the endothermic pump right there. We'll turn this back on. And it should. Okay, so it is going. I definitely saw it replaced. And then we'll run over here and look at the... I want to make sure that we can support the output. All right, so it's pretty small. We're only... I think we went from like 2,100 to maybe 3,000 is the max that we're seeing there. Our reactor is going to have no problem keeping up with that. And what you'll see is that it has now built... I'm now wondering if maybe it finished before we got over there. Let's see what it's pulling now. No, 2,100. So we went from about 2,100, 2,000 to about 3,000. That should not be a problem for our reactor at all. So what I am thinking is going over there, about where we talked about, just kind of the other side of the Enderman spawner here, and building a great big water pit, just like we initially did for the squid spawn, where we built the one flat and then did the diagonal across it with stone, filled it up with water, and then broke it out and let it go down for, except instead of putting a bottom in it, we let it go all the way to bedrock level. That will create a massive structure, and then we pump all the water out. That will create a massive structure that we can then go and start tunneling into and building a base, just like we would build a base in an overworld that wasn't a sky factory or a skyblock world. Now, you may be saying, why in the world would you want to turn a skyblock world into a non-skyblock world? I don't have any desire to do that. What I do have a desire is to have a superstructure that we can create rooms and base rooms inside. So I'm going to, Obviously, you guys, I don't want you guys to have to sit here and watch me do this entire thing. Let me break this stuff back down and get it back in my inventory. But probably what I will do is maybe a speed build where I get all that set up, and then obviously it's going to take a long time to pump all that water. If I do 4x4 or even 5x5 chunks, it's going to take a long time to pump that much water out. So I may do all that as a speed build. We just have to see how the time runs. So one of two things is either going to happen. Either a speed build is going to start here in just a second, or a jump cut is going to start here in just a second, depending on how much video actually gets shot. So I'll be back in just a second to begin setting up this structure. All right, guys, here we go. I decided we would at least do the building of the platform and getting the water placement. I tore that structure out, obviously, before we got started here. I figured we'd do at least this much as a speed build, and then we'll just have to see about the water pumping. I suspect the water pumping is going to be too much. So here we go. We're going to do a speed build. I think we're going to get up. We don't want to be... Do we want to go to cloud level or above? You know, we could go all the way to the top. Could go all the way to build limit, but I don't really... That would take like days and days to pump all that water out. So we want to get to the edge of a chunk and place down. That is not. And we're actually going to go just outside of the chunk so that and we're going to use stone out here. And there's a reason we're going to use stone. We're going to use stone out here so that the water is sitting, the water that's sitting here when it gets changed. I'm sorry. We're going to put stone on the outside so that we can put cobblestone on the bottom so that we can vein mine it out. We're going to put this just outside of the chunk border. Excuse me, we're going to put this just outside the chunk border so that the entire chunk is filled up with water. So here we go, guys. I'll be back in just a second. All right, guys, there's one other thing I want to do before we start in on the next section. Obviously, that is the frame that the water's going to sit inside. But my builder's wand, we can upgrade the builder's wand. We have, where is my builder's wand? There's my builder's wand. We have the unbreakable wand. It does 16 blocks, but if we look at the unbreakable wands, unbreakable, we will see that there is an unbreakable and then another unbreakable that does 32 blocks. And this one is just 2 of the 16 blocks put together. Well, this was just a builder's wand plus 2 sticks. So we are absolutely going to go ahead and build another builder's wand right now. So we need unstable ingots, and we are obviously going to do the, that's the wrong version of that. We are going to do the, we have gold in the system, I promise. Can we do these? No, of course not. I think we've actually tried that once before. Ooh, how many charges? 128, we're fine. Gold. So let's break a couple of these down. Matter of fact, there. Now we've got gold nuggets for a while. Now, unstable ingot. And we want this thing, and we want 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We only need a single unstable ingot, so we really only need 9. There we go. Now, we can put these together, grab our ingot, grab a couple of sticks. The other thing that's really nice about using the stable and unstable ingots is that you can do that over here in the ME system. What? What? Did I just do something goofy? I'm sorry. We need the, well, we can do the unbreakable because we're going to combine it into that breakable. Stick. Oh, we have to build the wand first. Duh, I'm sorry. I lost my head there for a second. Unstable. Yeah, it would help if you're going to build the wand to build the wand. Now we need our sticks. And of course my T is still not working when I'm not hovering over. I need to go find out what is bound to that and actually get rid of that. It's absolutely amazing how frequently I type the letter T. And then if we do 2 of these together, we should get, there we go. We should get a 32 block. So yay. All right, so the next step is to get back up here and put the cobblestone in the bottom and then start, draw the diagonal and start laying in water. So we'll do another cut right here and we'll just see how long that takes. All right, guys, so that was a lot of cobblestone to lay down, and obviously you will have seen that at one point I created the world's largest dark room spawner when I let it get dark up here. All right, so I've been doing the math. What level did we actually get this at? 152. So here's the interesting thing. One bedrockium drum is not going to get it done. It's not going to get the job done. So this is a single chunk, is 16 by 16, and there are 16 chunks here, and we're at 152. We're at Y152. So this is something like 600,000, yeah, 600,000 buckets of water that we're about to create right here. I suspect, here's what I'm about to do. I'm about to log out of the game and make a backup copy before we go any further, because I suspect there's a real possibility when I break all this cobblestone out, I'm going to crash my entire world. Yes. Suddenly it's going to want to try to create a 500,000 entities floating in water, and we're going to want to do all those updates, and I suspect there's a real possibility that that does not get handled real well. So we may actually have to divide this if we're going to do a structure this big, but I did want to let you know that I'm fixing to stop. I'm going to make a backup copy, and then I'm going to start laying in the diagonal water, and we'll be back in just a second. All right, so the world has been saved, and we're going to start putting in the diagonal here. This is going to be out of cobblestone as well. And we really should have done, because I'm going to have to break each one of these manually if I make them into cobblestone. That'll be all right. That way I can actually kind of control it as I go anyway. So I'm going to get busy laying in the diagonal here and pouring in water buckets, and then we'll be back to see whether or not we absolutely crush our world when we do this. So give me a few minutes, guys, and I'll be back with you in just a second. Okay, guys, here it is, the last bucket on this side, which should force all of that to become source blocks. Can we watch it go all the way down? Come on, keep going, keep going. Excellent. This is now all going to be source blocks on this side. And you probably did not get to watch all of that happen. And the reason is that it made me a little seasick doing it in real time. I cannot imagine if I speed that up, times 10, times 20 speed, it's going to be a blur and probably make somebody sick. So probably you will have just seen a couple of cuts out of that rather than the whole process sped up. Now, I want to go opposite of where the wall is at and drop a bucket of water. This will be the bucket that is required to provide the one source on this side. Should be. I'm going to say should be. One source on this side. Just like we had to go drop one bucket down there to get that whole wall to fill up, this should be the one bucket that causes the rest of this to fill up. So we're going to go down here and start breaking these blocks out of the middle now. And this should fill in the rest of the square with source blocks of water. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to just walk backwards here, breaking out these blocks, and we'll be back in just a second. All right, guys, here goes the last two blocks. And if our source block of water over there did the magic, we should have source blocks of water running towards us right now, but I don't see it. Obviously, our outside wall has now become, well, it's source blocks here. Maybe, oh, yep, there it is right there. It's catching up with us right now. Boom, 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 boom. This, by the way, is the absolute fastest method I know of building large lakes, building oceans. If you want your own ocean in-game, this is the fastest way I know to do it, is to build structures and do the diagonals and then fill in every step of the diagonal to let it fill up half of it, and then break the wall, place a source bucket on the opposite side and break the wall out. Now, we're going to do a couple of things. The first thing we're going to do is go sleep, because we spent yet another day working on this, in-game day working on this. And the walls are all suddenly going to become spawn pads up there, and we would like for that not to be true. So I am going to do that, and then we are going to see whether or not we absolutely crash the game by breaking all the cobble. So we'll be back in just a second when we're ready to do that. So let's just hop up here, kill any baddies that we see, because, baddies. Now probably what we should do, we should probably go ahead, because we're immediately going to start creating an even bigger, we're going to end up recreating the same size sort of spawn situation, right? So we'll go ahead and drop torches around the outside. Oops, somehow missed. Probably floating too high over the ground. Just so that we can slow down. We're not going to be able to stop it because it's going to, well, I don't know. Because we're going to have water down so deep, it'll take a while to go from block to block. I'm going to have to go make at least one more bedrockium drum. Maybe 2 more bedrockium drums, maybe 10 more bedrockium drums. Maybe I need to be just voiding the water somehow. Isn't there a void pipe? Hang on. That may be the sword. That may be the ticket right there. Let's see if there's a void pipe of some sort available to us. Void pipe? No. What do we have here? Void stone, void, molten void metal. We've got the void upgrade for our Java barrel. I don't see any way to just void a liquid. There probably is a way, and my brain is being dense about it. Okay, we're just going to we'll just have to build whatever drums we have to build and deal with it that way later. Okay, so here comes the part. I'm going to take a cut just in case we crash everything, and so that I can save the game real quick. But here comes the part where we could completely crash the world. So back in half a second. Are you ready? I don't know that I'm ready. I'm a little worried, to be honest. So there goes, a a third or better of it, right? I can't reach it. I'm really surprised. You are too hungry to vein mine. Of course we are, because we've taken out a ton of cobblestone. This may not have been my best idea ever. Oh my goodness, at the water. Oh, we're having to wait on chunk updates. That's hilarious. Then I'll just went into the void, but it's just cobblestone. We're okay with that. We just need to make sure we got all the cobblestone. I see no cobblestone left, and if we look, we should see a curtain of water forming. Oh my goodness. Yeah, my machine's having a little bit of difficulty dealing with this. There's no doubt about it. Okay, guys, I am going to cut here so I can at least stop my recording software, so that I've got as much horsepower as possible to draw in all this water, or it's going to take forever. Actually, it's going to take forever anyway, but I'll cut away while that's happening, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, guys, we are back, and it looks like it has finished filling in everywhere. Yeah, I think we're good. Now, so that's what the current boundaries of the water are what we're going to end up with. Why is there... I don't know what that weirdness is. Oh, it was just a lighting update. So the boundaries here, the current water boundaries, will be the boundaries of our giant cube of cobblestone and stone as soon as this is done. So, no bad guys up here right now. Let's go ahead and grab our... You know what? I'm just going to toss it all out. No, I'm not. Besides, tossing it out won't make any difference because there's so much of it right here beside me that's just going to pick it back up. Now, where is our... There's our pump. So we'll drop down our pump, and we're going to put it up on top of this because it does the level beneath it. We're going to grab the barrel, put it on top. Yeah, it just isn't big enough. And grab the Tesseract. Where's our Tesseract? There it is. Drop down our Tesseract, and it should be on. So, yep, I see it started over here at this corner. Of course it did. But at least that allows us to get a torch in right here. And you can see that it's actually moving. I mean, to be going down 150, what we decided it was, 152 blocks, it's actually moving pretty quickly. It's going all the way down to bedrock level. Of course, that's just void down there. But it's going all the way down to bedrock level, and it's already done four whole rows. We can see it going down right there. We can just watch it, the next one that starts back up. Boom, you see how quickly it's moving. It's pumping all that water out of there. This is already got... Actually, it's only got 11 buckets in? 12 buckets? Oh, because it's only picking up the source... Okay. Yes, that is true. The rest of these aren't true source blocks. Only the top layer is a true source block. The other layers are water because of the water flowing down. So maybe one barrel is going to be enough. That would be absolutely amazing if it would. That would certainly save us from having to build multiple barrels. Matter of fact, 16 by 16, so this is 64 by 64, which is what? Well, I bet it'll fit in there. I think it is 65K, right? No, it can't be right. Anyway, there's a real possibility this all fits in one barrel. Or one drum, rather. All right, so we just need to go away and let this thing do its thing. I do want to go check power real quick, just to make sure. I think we saw exactly what we thought we saw earlier, which was that it increased our power usage by about 1K. I'm okay with that. If that's really the... yeah, it's not even bad right now. Very good. So, it's just a matter at this point. Let's see what percentage we're running at on our reactor. We are going to have to consider... we need to look to know exactly what percentage we're at. We're going to look here. So we're at about 30% utilization, 38, because we're at 72. I'm sorry, 28, because we're at about 72 percent. So this is inverse. Whatever this percentage number is the amount not being used by the system. So we're at 28% utilization, 72% setting idle. We still got plenty of Yellorite sitting in here. We've only used 9. We could top that off, I suppose, but at this point, it's just a waiting game. We just have to wait for all of that to finish building, and then we're going to have a giant playground to go play in. We do need to continue lighting that up as it goes to keep us from having a huge mess on our hands here in just a little while, so I'll take care of that off camera. There's absolutely no reason. You know, the one thing, wait. You know what we could do on camera while we're waiting? Ooh, hang on. While we're waiting on that, let's go ahead and put away the tools we have been using to work here. Bang, bang, bang. We no longer need that. We always want to keep that with us, but we can put our food away temporarily. And let's look at loot bags. We have 33 legendary loot bags, and that has simply come from throwing this stuff over in, what is that, 600 and over 600 of the, we're going to have to actually have some space to put items in. So I'm telling you what, I'm going to do a speed cut right here while we open bags, and then we'll cut away and wait. Is that a horse up there? Oh no, that's my that's my actual that's the actual structure I built to pump all the water out. Yep, okay. So I'm going to do a speed cut right here while we open bags, and that way you can see what is going in it. Matter of fact, we should probably set up a couple of chests that we can just toss stuff into so that we can look at all of it at the end. We've actually got 2 diamond chests right here. That should, I hope, be enough. So speed cut right here. Here we go. Oh my goodness, guys. Legendary loot bags are legendary. Do you see this? We have been talking about building magnum torches, and oh my goodness, we got 3 out of the legendary bags. That's amazing. We also picked up a couple of wither skulls, most of a full suit of diamond, not that we need that at this point. Another silverwood sapling, very important to us at this point. The Crimson Cult stuff, I don't know. Thaumcraft is something that we have to start. Thaumcraft is something we have to kind of get through, but I'll be honest and say it's not one of my favorite mods. It really isn't. I find it cumbersome, I suppose. My mind works mechanically. The sort of stuff I do for a living is very much the kind of mechanical inclination. So the mechanical stuff works very cleanly in my head. The magic stuff sometimes doesn't so much. We've also got to get through some of the witchery mod, and I've tried that before when I was playing on the WASD game servers. I am a part of a gaming group called WASD Games. The WASD Gamers and I had a server up at one point, and I got elected to do the witchery stuff, and that lasted about until someone who had actually had some experience with witchery took a look at it and went, "Oh no, you don't need to be doing this. This is not your forte." So we're going to struggle through those things, but it's not my favorite. So I don't know if there's really any benefit to this. I don't know why we need them or if we need them. I do see a couple of necrotic bones, but of course we're getting all of those we need at this point. A couple more octatic. That is a major score as well. And then what level? Oh wow, a tier 4 chance cube pendant. So those were very, very, very good bags. And part of what we're wanting to do, part of the reason we're wanting to get the new spaces set up is we would like to be able to pump with an export. Export. I don't know why my caps lock is on. With the export bus, we could pump our bags automatically out of the system and over here into the compactor to be automatically upscaled, and then we could pull the. Well, yes. We just have to export all the different bags. We export them all back in. We don't do the recursive, and then we pump the combined results back into the image system so that it loops through and through and through until it automatically is creating legendary bags for us. That would be a huge, major victory for us, and I can't wait till we get that point, but we need that structure right there done. So I'm going to cut away again. I'm going to go play some torches. I'm going to wait on this to finish, and we'll be back when it's done. Oh, man, guys, look what I've done. Now, that is still running. I don't think it has even finished the first... No, maybe it has finished the first chunk. Or is just about to finish the first chunk? It is. It's just about to finish the first chunk. Now, I grabbed one of the magnum torches we just got and dropped it right here. This thing has a radius horizontally of 64 blocks and a radius vertically of 32 blocks. Well, obviously, there should never be anything until we start actually carving stuff out. There's nothing below us that is spawnable, and this reaches that far corner, which is only like 50 blocks away. So I was able to take down all the torches, drop in one magnum torch, and not have to worry about any of this spawning while it's up here working. So I don't have to come back up here and constantly drop in torches, which freed me up to work on something else, and it is the something else that I want to look at, because I have a feeling that's going to take several hours to complete. So we probably aren't going to get to see the end result of that today, but or at least I won't get to record it the same day. So I was just looking for something else to work on. And when last we were here, we were talking about automating loot bags. Yes, we were. Now, this is obviously can't be a permanent setup because it's even uglier than it was before. But this is all getting torn down soon. We are working on a new place to put a new permanent sort of base structure. So I thought we would go ahead and see if we could automate this. Now, I did have one small issue, and that issue was that I had some of the what are the other loot bags? The ones that, the worn out loot bags. And even though I put a common loot bag in here, it was trying to pump out the worn out loot bag. So I had to dump all those out of my system. Not a big loss. There were like 7 of them. Now we are going to need a capacity card, which should be right here. I bet that's an advanced card. No, it's a basic card. So I think we're probably going to need 2 in order to get the other bags in. 1, 2, because I think the first one makes it a plus sign, like that, and then the other one gives us the other 4 squares. So let's see. Let's check out what other bags we have. Loot bag. Let's go ahead and grab the green bag and add it to the filter. So now it should be exporting both the white and the green bags. We should see those popping in, and then, oh, we're not? Oh, yep. We actually never even see them land up here. They land so fast that they're essentially gone by the time that they can form. So that's awesome. And then the next bag up, loot bag, is going to be the blue ones. So we'll add that to the system. I kind of need to catch up because I don't want to try to, well, I guess it won't matter. The most it would do is end up with 1 extra in because we're pumping them out. So we can add the blue bag. Oops. Come back here. And I guess we can just go ahead and throw him in there. It won't hurt anything. And then loot bag purple. If we have purples, and we should have some purples at this point because it is cranking through them in a hurry. So there it is. That will take it all the way from basics as they come in the system, all the way up to legendary loot bags. We should, matter of fact, there they are. There are 21 more legendary loot bags. Oh my goodness, guys, can you believe that? And as the loot bags come in from the system down here, they're just going to keep constantly cycling through there until we've got more and more legendary loot bags. Now, the way we're doing this, we're coming off with a cable right here to an export bus. Obviously, we put 2 capacity cards in there for, or acceleration cards in there for speed, and 2 for capacity, although it looks like I could have gotten away. I dumped one of the, and now I'm not going to know what it was until it comes back. We've got rare, so it was the epic, which is going to take a while to build up. But as soon as I see an epic bag, I will drop it back in there, which means we can pull out one of these cards, because we really only needed the plus sign, because there were really only 4 bags. And on this side, we've got a transfer node with half a stack of speed upgrades, just pumping back into a ME interface. An ME interface always acts as an input into our ME system. That's the same way we're getting our stuff from our Tesserats in. I started to say the same way we're getting our stuff from our chest in, but that's not true. We're using import bus here, aren't we? Yeah, we're using import bus here. So oh, that is so awesome. We have an automatic generation for our loot bags at this point. So what we probably want to do now is another sped up sort of bag opening. Yes, I think so. Let's do it. I'll go ahead and drop down the other diamond chest just so that we can fill it up, so we'll know exactly what came out of which ones. So here we go, guys. Let's do another bag opening. Yes. Back in just a second. Okay, guys, that one was pretty awesome too. We actually managed to get a stable ingot out of there, or stable unstable ingot out of there, which was pretty amazing. Oh, we dumped a loot bag up here, which we certainly didn't mean to do. So let's open it real quick. Draconium. Oh goodness, I didn't realize we could get draconium from those. That's awesome. I wonder if we got draconium on the other side. So there's some draconium. Actually, we got 5 of those. Signalum we picked up. There was something else. There's 2 more octatics. What else did I see that I got all excited about? Some more silverwood, so we can make a magical forest biome at some point. The rights, where'd the book go? There it is, the Crimson Rights. This book is one that I think we're only supposed to be able to get by killing the cultists, but obviously we don't have normal terrain generation, so we don't have cultists laying around anywhere. So, very nice that we managed to get that out of a bag. And then I wanted to look and see, we did get some draconium out of the other one as well. Very nice. All right, guys. I think we're probably going to have to call it an episode. I know I'm getting long at this point. I've got to be getting long at this point. And obviously, this is going to take. Oh, this is cool. We're actually going to have clouds floating through our base at the upper levels. This is just going to take a very long, very long time. So I probably could build another pump and put it on the other side and start helping this one out. At least then we can move at double speed. But I can just leave this and let it AFK and let it do its thing. The nice thing about the Magnum Torches is while it will block all hostile mob spawns, it does not block things like our mob spawner down there, which is probably, yeah, it should be in range. Maybe not, it may be down too low, but it's real possible that it is in range. And it will not block the mob spawns in there, which is very nice. So I'm excited. Oh, you know what? I made a goofy mistake. I built the outside rim all out of stone, so it would be a different material than the interior, so that I could later vein mine it out. I can't do that because it's now the same material that's in here. Derp. So if you're doing this, do this outside border and something else, wood or something that you can vein mine out later. That was goofy. And I suspect we don't have a lot of water in here yet either. No, only 32 buckets or so. So very nice. No, that should be more than that. Is that 300? That's 323 buckets. So excellent. All right, guys. So that's 256. So 1,000, 4,000, 49. It'll be 4096. Yeah, it should be like 4096. Buckets, and that will easily fit inside this drum. So, yay! All right, guys. Well, we're going to call an episode here. We're going to wait for that to finish. I'm just going to hang out in AFK. I don't think I'm going to work on anything else. I've got some things to go do in real life, and we will pick back up next time. Guys, I appreciate you hanging out with me. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I know you could be spending your time doing anything you wanted, but you chose to spend it with me, and I value that very much. If you enjoyed the episode, be sure to click that like button down there. It helps me out a lot. I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great one. Bye-bye.